Today I'm going to tell the story of my first kiss. It was a beautiful, cloudy, sunny day in Perth. The clouds were clouding. Kenny Wenny was hopping over to Subway, where he was hoping to get a nice big 12-incher from the sandwich artists. And as he wandered in, he realized there was a beautiful brunette woman looking at him. This was back in the day when Ken was a young jit, not the decrepit old fuck you see before you. And young Kenny, full of life, soul in his eyes, just getting into Clash for the first time. He went up there, he asked her for a big 12-incher, and she started putting that thing together. Meanwhile, the whole time she was putting this thing together, I was scheming in my mind. How am I going to talk to this girl? How am I going to find a way, a swag way to get her number? How am I going to do this whole thing? So my mind starts plotting all these ideas, all these different tactics, and eventually I strike up a little conversation with her. We start yipping and yapping a little bit. And then the furnace connected on my tower and I wanted to slice my fucking wrist open. But besides that, I wrote a conversation in my mind, basically. And then I reenacted it. Like I made it happen, all right? And by the end of that, I swiftly said, well, it was nice to meet you. Do you mind if I get your number, by the way? And she paused for a second. And then she said, yeah, okay. And I immediately fucking heel clapped outside of Subway. I was hitting emotes, you know what I mean? It was like the best day of my life. I'd fucking done it. I was going to be a proud member of my family who he just bagged an absolute baddie. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't wait to tell my friends and family, Kenny has a girlfriend. And then my brain started working again and I realized, wait, now I actually have to win her over in a real date. So Kenny Wenny puts a date together. Kenny Wenny says, hey, it's the guy from Subway. And she responds. I couldn't believe it. She actually responded. She didn't give me a courtesy number. And we start yipping and yapping. We start talking about favorite artists. I tell her about some song I'm listening to at the moment. And it's some really sad song. And she's like, wow, that's sad. And I'm like, yeah. And so anyway, I cut the shit and I'm saying, hey, do you want to go to the movies with me? Maybe we get some food and go to the movies. It could be really cool. And we do. She says yes. Fuck yeah. Kenny Wenny's got a movie date. So we head to the movies together. And just before we go to the movies, we sit down and we get some food. Now, I have to say, something for a first date, a little advice for all my Sigmas in the comment section is you want to sit next to a girl, right? You don't want to, this was a rookie Ken, all right? This was a long time ago. When we sat opposite each other at this restaurant next to this diner, as you Americans like to call it. When we were sitting across from each other at this diner, we had to look at each other in the eyes the whole time, which is great, but I don't know. At first, it just was a little bit awkward. We were young, and it just felt a little bit awkward. I always think the better play is to sit next to them. Now, that's a bold play. That's a crazy maneuver to go for. The sitting next to each other, you know what I mean? Like, that shit can get crazy, but you're in an advantageous position if you're sitting next to her, you know what I mean? As opposed to across from her. How are you gonna, you know what I mean? Put your hands, okay, it's not that crazy. Basically, I did, we just had dinner. We just sat across from each other. Eye contact's great, although it was a little bit awkward from what I remember. But anyway, so we had din-dins, and it was all right. And then, this was another rookie mistake. Going to the movies was a bad idea. But Kenny didn't know this because you can't actually get to know somebody when you're at the movies. You're just kind of sitting there in silence watching something. And I remember when we were watching the movie, it was kind of awkward because I was sitting there not talking to her. We're just staring at this and we're not even holding hands. And they start kissing in the movie. It was a passionate kissing movie. I think we were watching the new Scream horror movie. I think that I just figured girls like horror movies, so I was like, fuck it, let's watch this. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It was just so stupid. It was kind of funny. There was some hee-hee-hee-haws heard in the cinema, all that kind of shit. And young Kenny Wenny was watching this kiss scene, this fucking passionate makeout scene happening right under his eyes, in front of his eyes. And I was just standing there cemented forwards looking at the screen. I didn't dare even look at her for a second. I couldn't bring myself to even imply for a second that I wanted to kiss her because that would just be the most disgusting thing in the world. If this balloon takes my entire tower, I'm going to lose it. I swear to God I will. Okay, we win the game. Pogs in the chat. And so I'm making sure I don't look at her for even a damn second. I've got my periphery vision is cancelled. My eyes don't even dart even slightly. I am locked in on the screen because they're making out and I feel uncomfortable. I don't know this girl. Am I expected to make out because they're making out on the screen? Is this a cue from God? Is that what I have to do? But I decided, no, Kenny, be patient, all right? Be patient. So anyway, the movie concludes and Kenny asks her, hey, baby cakes. Definitely didn't say that, but I'd like to think that one day I will have the confidence for that. Kenny, when he said, hey, babes, what do you think of the movie? And she said, yeah, it was good. It was funny. Some shit like that. It doesn't matter for the story. And so we wander down and we get to the car park. It's now the end of the date. It's dark. The car park are the only lights, and the moonlight is the only lights we can see. And so this was the big moment. We're about to separate, about to go our own ways, and just before we go away, we're kind of just standing there face to face, looking at each other, staring into each other's eyes, her beautiful brown eyes, and this was the moment. Kenny was going to go for the kiss. He knew it, she knew it. It was one of those unspoken moments where you just know. And so I say, all right, put it there, pal. No, I didn't do that, okay, for the record. I just said, well, this was really fun. Hopefully I can see you again. And I went for the hug. I went for the fucking hug. I was a gentleman. I wasn't going to go getting dirty and sloppy on the first date. I wanted to play the gentleman, you know. I wanted to be a good guy. I didn't know if she wanted a kiss. I wanted to feel it out a little bit more. Kenny didn't really know what he was doing. And Kenny doesn't really know what the fuck's going on in this Clash match either. Get off my tower ceiling, fan. Please, lock onto my berserker. That would be much better. Thank you. We're still in it. And so we went our separate ways. Date 1 concluded. Date 2. I actually can't really remember much of what happened on date 2, so we're just going to skip date 2. There was no kissing in date 2. I think we might... Oh... Wait, date 2, we played mini golf. I remember now. And I felt like she came out of her shell in date 2 a little bit. I remember that now, yeah. And I remember by the end of it, I went for a handhold at the end of the mini golf, and she took it. We were holding hands. I couldn't believe it. And then, this is actually crazy. I remember by the end of the date, we went and got a burrito at a place called Zambrero's. I think it's an Australian chain. It's basically Chipotle for the rest of the world, I guess. So we got our burritos there, and we're sitting in the car munching on our burritos. I'm like, okay, I held her hand. I got, we're making some progress here, and we're vibing. You know what I mean? We're eating burritos, and we're vibing. And then I say, she's like, what do you do? And I say, well, I've started making videos on, you probably haven't heard of it, Clash Royale, this little game. And she's like, oh my God, no way, I play Clash Royale. Now I had fucking 20k subs at the time. But I was ambitious. I had big plans for my Clash channel. And I couldn't believe it. She fucking actually played Clash. She had an account at 5k trophies. And I was thinking at the time, this is it. She's the one. There will never be another human being that will be more perfect for me. I also worked at Subway. It was just perfect. I held her hand like we were pretty much married at this point. And so we chatted up. And she doesn't realize at this point that she's had the game for years, and they released this. I don't know why I'm even talking about this, but fucking there's this feature in Clash where you level up and you can okay, can this flying machine fuck off? You can open chests in the top left. Basically, there's like a little icon that you can see when you level up, you get chests to open. And she didn't even know that existed. So I went out of my way and I showed her, hey, you have all these chests you could open. And as soon as I did that, I thought I'd won. Okay, thank God, flying machine. Jesus Christ. You're seriously just going to throw fireballs at my tower, Antoine. All right, little bro. I think you need to be punished, and I will gladly give you the belting your dad never could. Anyway, I opened these chests for her, and I thought I'd won her heart. But once again, I dropped her home, and I still did not go for the kiss. I dropped her at her house. I picked her up, and I dropped her from her house. I'm pretty sure. Wait, no, I didn't. Wait, yes, I did. But I still didn't go for the kiss. Okay, Antoine is literally doesn't have anybody in this world that cares for him, so we're just going to ignore that. But date 3, I pick her up from her house. Progress is about to be made. This is about to be endgame, right? I pick her up from her house. We go bowling, right? We go bowling, and I out of the goodness of my heart, let her win one of the games. And then I had to humble her, of course, in the second game. But a little pro tip out there, let them win, right? Let them fucking win. But I, of course, I did win the second game because it just had to happen. Anyway, aside from that, back to the date. So we're playing bowling. I'm looking at her bowling down the alley, and I'm like, she plays Clash. She has bowling skills. She's a girl. Like, this is great. Like, I've won. This is it, man. She's pretty. I couldn't believe my luck. She wants to go on a date with me. And we finish up the bowling. Then we drive around. She's like, oh, that's my school. And I like tease her a little bit about it. W's in the chat. And then Kenny went for his Evo Ice Spirit, and his opponent had no skill and so couldn't activate his King Tao, but he has broken evolutions, so he's saved. But luckily I have the E Spirit. How the fuck is that still alive? Anyway, so we drive around, we go past our school, and then I say, hey, want to get churros? Want to get churros and eat them at this like nice like beachy spot, like this nice like marina place that's nearby me. And she's like, and I'm like, what? And she goes, Did you just say churros? And I say, what? What the fuck do you mean? Yes, I did. And she's like, it's churros. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's churros. And she's like, no, it's churros. It's churros. You're a silly Billy. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, it's all bants. It's all good vibes, you know. I'm saying it, maybe I didn't realize. Honestly, I didn't realize this whole time I'd been saying churros wrong. Anyway, so she corrects me on churros, and I'll never make that mistake again. But, she's like, we're breaking each other's barriers down a little bit. We're having a bit of banter. Things are going well. So we get to the churro spot, and I order some churros. And I saw somebody working there, and I chose not to, that I knew, and I chose not to engage in conversation with them because I am not about to have to explain that I'm on a date. Anyway, so date 3. It's going great. It's going, dare I say, fantastic. This is it, man. This is fucking it. Kenny's about to secure the package. You know what they say, man? Date 3 is the one. Date 3 is the big one. And so Kenny sits down on the grass. We're looking at the water. It's beautiful. We're at the marina, and it's amazing. Life could not be better. We're eating our churros, and we're having a bit of laughy time. I'll admit it. I was making her goof and gag. She was hee-hee-hee-hawing. She was emoting on my ass. It was great. And so I did something a little bit dangerous. I said, I give a really good massage. And so I said, does that feel good? And I reached for her hand. And guess what? She didn't pull back. She wanted me to touch her hand. And then all of a sudden, I get a little bit adventurous. I touch a little bit of her forearm. All of a sudden, the touch barrier is broken. Kenny is in. All of a sudden, we've crossed the line a little bit. And guess what? She doesn't actually despise it, contrary to popular belief. And so Kenny at this point is getting all kinds of fucking confidence. And so I'm like, maybe this is the one. Maybe I can make it happen. Maybe this hog rider will not end my entire bloodline. Please, for the love of Christ, hog rider. I have mortar, and I'm still just struggling. But it's all right, because Kenny Wenny's about to break the touch barrier big time. And so, we're comparing. I'm like, well, I'm flirting a little bit here or there. I'm getting a little bit getting in my bag, I'm going to have to waste my Evo mortar here, fucking kill myself. And so I basically say, hey, do you have any muscles? Or like I touch her arm a little bit. I'm saying, hey, you got some muscles there. And she's like, hey, don't. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And all of a sudden, we're touching each other's arms a little bit. Things are getting a bit precarious. And now I know this is looking really good. This could be it. And so we keep touching each other a little bit more. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to force a kiss at this point. It's something that needs to happen. Wait, holy. Oh my God, I'm fucking shit this game. I'm literally going to kill myself if this hog rider wins in the game. Okay, 18 seconds left. All right, I'm going to go for this. He's going to go for more. Anyway, so Kenny Wenny is going to lose this game out of good faith. It's always good to give back. And so anyway, I'm going to let him have it here, out of the goodness of my heart, the kindness of my soul. Good game, Squirt. So Kenny Wenny decides, I'm going to try and make prolonged eye contact after touching and playfully touching each other. I'm going to try and make direct eye contact to try and just go for the win, right? The GG, the W's in the chat moment. The moment everybody's been waiting for, you know what I mean? I'm trying to go for that crazy shit. And so Kenny Wenny, he bucks up the courage. After a lot of playful banter, a lot of talking, Kenny's going to go for it. And he says that in his mind. Then all of a sudden, he bucks up the courage in one big moment. And he leans in. He leans in for the kiss. He goes for the kill. And you know what happens next? She kisses me back. Holy fucking smokes. We're making out. It's getting hot out here. We are going crazy with the kissing. And she's kind of enjoying it. Kenny Wenny realizes at this moment that he can do more than just play Clash. And holy smokes, Dark Goblin's been taken out. And so we're kissing and shit. We're having a good time. It's late at night, but she's saying we knew that she had work tomorrow, right? I knew she had work tomorrow. So eventually, after lots of kissing, I'm saying, I say something like, I know you've probably got work tomorrow and you have to go. And she's like, yeah, I probably do. So you know what happens? We hold hands, swinging back and forth all the way back to the car. Kenny can't believe it. He's found his Goblin Queen. And so anyway, we're back in the car. And Kenny drives her back to her house. And when we arrive back at the house, we're sitting in the car for a second. We pull up, and I don't know what's going to happen next at this point. Kenny's very inexperienced, and he doesn't know what to do. He can't believe it. And so what happens next will actually blow your mind. This was unheard of. Kenny didn't realize this sort of thing could happen. I stop the car. I look at her. She grabs me, pulls me in, and starts making out with me. And I'm loving it. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. She actually likes me too. And she's going crazy on me. Like I'm talking like kissing and shit. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. To this day, it's just a sort of love that, you know, once in a fucking generation. And then we're kissing. She's not leaving. And it feels amazing. It honestly feels amazing. I still have that image ingrained in my mind of that day. It was fantastic. And eventually she says, I'll text you. And she walks out the car and I watch her leave. And I'm there like, I'm feeling like I'm playing Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. I'm playing all kinds. I'm playing fucking Rocky tunes, man. I'm playing every kind of winning anthem you can think of, man. I'm playing NCS Feel Good, like every goddamn song that has ever been a triumphant win for mankind. I'm playing it. I'm listening to it on the way home. I'd won, man. I had my Disney story. I had my fairy tale. Kenny Wenny actually gets to live like in the movies. It was all gonna go well. It was all looking good. Kenny had done it. The life path that he envisioned for himself, that he had in his mind, was gonna work out. Now, judging by the state of my life right now and this channel and whatnot, you know the ending is obviously a little more sour than a Disney story. After that, she never messaged me back. That was it. She never messaged me again. Not one message. That was it. It was over. Kenny Wenny's Disney story crumbled in front of his eyes, and he didn't know why. He had no idea why. Until, actually, I got some closure on that. It took many years, but I saw her in a club a long time later. Many years later. I'm guessing it was like 4 years later. And so I bucked up the courage, and I asked her, hey, why did you never message me back? And she said, honestly, you were really nice. I just wasn't over my ex. Which, as far as I'm concerned, means that she wasn't that into me. And that was the moment that Kenny went from this nice, innocent young lad with a lot of soul and light in his eyes to the dark, miserable, depressed alcoholic you see before yourself today. That was where the villain arc started for me. And I was never the same after that. I gave up, I realized. And that's when the dating apps were downloaded. And Kenny has never been the same since. So there's a bit of positive lore to start your weekend chat. Hope everybody enjoyed that fairy tale. So, yeah, after that I realized that the movies are all scripted. Real life is not one big happy story. In fact, it's miserable. It's like hell personified. that's the story of my